Hi everybody, what a place. This is incredible. We've been here 5 minutes and all kinds of things have already started happening, as you can hear. It's going to be a busy night. My name's Alan Robson, this is Kenny. Behind the camera we have Hollywood McShane. And tonight we're looking into an incredible, dark, bloody history in a place where massacres have happened year after year after year after year. People would come back to this place not expecting anybody else to be here because they'd wiped them out the year before and they'd find them again. The amount of stuff that's happened on this ground. Part of the upper building has been rebuilt, but we are in the real deal. We are in a place called Cartington Castle. Now it's on private land. It's right next to the farmhouse of the people who farm the land. Lovely folk, but it's not open to the public in any shape or form. Waste of time coming. You can't come and see anything here. So just be aware of that. But we are actually honoured to be in a place that was called the Wildlands. The Wildlands, because this was part of a thing called the Old Sacred Forest. This whole area around here. And it's beautiful all the way down to the River Coquet and the Spoot Burn that we will be taking a look at before we leave. It's all kicking off next door. Now, Cartington, why is it called that? And it's a story built on murder.
Dark murder.
Dark murder, it's just unbelievable. As I said, it's been reflecting everything that we do. Now, why is it called Cartington? This used to be a hillside settlement cum fortress belonging to a man called Cartington. Now Cartington, there are stories of a Cartington who used to fight in the armies of the Earl of Northumbria, whose name was Morcar. Now Morcar fought essentially William the Conqueror and the French. Now, Cartington is what this used to be called. Cartington's settlement, Cartington's village. Now, it was decided not long after William conquered, Cartington moved here. And it's thought that he actually left the army. Well, you don't leave the army. You die in the army, or you get so injured the army leaves you, but you don't leave the army, not back then. So Cartington, we think, went AWOL and came here and settled. It was far enough away, he thought, not to be bothered. But they came here because they wanted a fortress on this land overlooking the valley. And they said to Cartington, we want your land, you're going to have to move, you're going to have to farm elsewhere. And he says, no, it's my land, and I've been on it now for 30 odd years. He says, you can't take it, it's my ground. So they went away and they talked to their king and said, we can't get the land, it doesn't belong to us. So they said, well, who does it belong to? He says, this fella, Cartington. And they says, right, okay. So he sent the troops back. They wiped out everybody who lived here and said, yeah, we can build a fortress, there's nobody there alive. That's how you did it. Don't argue, don't discuss and dispute. So we believe that Cartington was murdered. Now, Cartington, again, then later on became Cartington, when a man called Cartington, or maybe he just took the name Cartington. I can understand it turning into that. But this was the wild land with the sacred forest. And the forest was everywhere. I know it's fields now, and when you see it, you'll be blown away with how beautiful this is. But it used to be solid forest everywhere, except for the top of this hill that he cleared to make his land. And it is absolutely incredible. This castle has had sieges, massacres, all kinds of amazing tales. But we're going to get started. I'm going to show you what we've already done. Come in to one of the larger halls. As you can see, a lot of the stone has fallen. Let's just knock this off for now. Beautiful building. And again, in the 1100s, Roger Fitzmaine, a Frenchman who took over the land, held against the Scots all that time ago, the 1100s. Oh, hello, we're nowhere near it.
It's good stuff.
We're nowhere near it.
Good stuff.
This stuff here, we've placed a number of traps. That is merely one of them. We've got a green marker pen there and a blue on the opposite side, and directly behind you is Scare Bear. So go on, Scare Bear. Let's see if we can get anything for the bear tonight.
At least you've got socks on and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
I got no socks on there.
You got no socks?
Not the best idea, really, was it? Never mind.
So many rooms here.
Oh, yeah.
And every time you look in one, that's me. Just how beautiful it is.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Got to be careful of nettles tonight, because we will get nettles.
There's lots of them.
So if we get something, it's a bonus.
Yeah. It's a nice like overhang there.
It's beautiful. But you can see the room, and we'll go into that room at some point.
Yeah.
Look at it,
Oh, yeah. That's cool.
and you can see the castle behind.
I don't know if that's going to be distracting, if it's going to keep going off.
I'm going to move it then. Let's put it somewhere else. Yeah, but if it keeps going off and we're not there,
Well, yeah, that's what I want.
we'll have it. There's also stairs, a circular staircase that was rebuilt. Thank you. That we will be going up in time. But so many dark stories to this place, and step by step by step, interesting tales to be told. Kenny's already amongst the nettles.
Cobwebs.
He's walked into some cobwebs too. That's what happens, mate. Yeah, it trips you as well, so be careful. Just in every direction, there's potential dangers. And the great thing is we've been allowed to come in here. We're very honoured to do that. We want to tell you all the history and all of the stories. And they cover a period of a good 1,000 years. And yet, this whole place goes back even further than that. 4,300 years BC, right?
Yeah.
That's, if you think about it, that's 6,000 years ago on this spot there was a settlement. Right
yeah.
here. Now, we're in the middle of, frankly, nowhere. We're not far from Rothbury, but we're out in the middle of nowhere. 4,300 years BC, which is a long, long time. That's 6,500 years ago.
Yeah.
You can't get your head around
No, you
those
can't
kind of
find it.
numbers. But this was part of the sacred wood of the time. There was a settlement here. There were stone circles. And not far from here, there's 2 standing stones. So the sign that this was a relatively sophisticated society, because a lot of people think, well, before the Romans and the Babylonians and the Abyssinians and the Sumerians, there was no civilized society. Well, there was. There was. And, you talk, well, the stone circles would be ceremonial. Yes, it was. But they were meeting places.
Yeah.
A lot of the standing stones were there, and there were other stones to sit on in front of them. It's where you met, where everybody was equal and it was equidistant. And I know Sir Walter Scott in Le Morte d'Arthur later on talked about King Arthur's round table and why was it round, so nobody sat at the head of it, everybody was equal. Well, he didn't create that, he didn't make it up. Where did he get it from? He got it from the meeting places, the old pagan stone circles. So I'm also going to tell you a bit later about a Geordie word that is kind of summed up by the stuff that happens here. But this area, 6,500 years. This, 1,000 years.
It's a bird, is it?
It's not a bird. It's crying. I hope somebody heard that.
We definitely heard
That
it.
was weeping. It was a girl crying.
It's a weird noise.
We heard that, didn't we?
I hope people at home are getting this.
Well, I heard it and I've got the headphones in. It's got to have picked that up.
But it came from in there, Kenny.
From that
Didn't
one.
it?
That's what I thought. I was like, what the hell? Oh, there's lots of cobwebs.
Yeah, well, you find cobwebs on old things, Kenny. Be careful, the box might go off. It's directly opposite in the doorway.
Right, okay. Oh. It is cold with the other end, isn't it?
It's actually cool. It's a warm night,
Yeah.
but it's really super cool in here, man.
It's cold in this one, isn't
It is super cool in here. Hello? Hello? Speak to us. Tell us your stories. We'd love to hear from you.
it? It's cold in this one.
No, absolutely.
Oh, this is like uneasy feeling, isn't it?
It's different.
That was weird, that noise though.
It was an odd noise, but it was 3 distinct weeps,
Yeah.
like somebody sobbing.
Yeah, wasn't it?
Well, we heard it in here, but I'm certain it came from there. Just be careful, Kenny.
Yeah.
This whole place has an uneasy feeling. Let's do a bit of exploring. Now, we're only going to be clearing the stream in about half an hour tonight. So, if you would like to join us for the whole hog, because we're going down to the sacred forest and a place that's called the Murderer's Tears, and hopefully we'll show you that on a place called the Spoot Burn. So we're going down there later on when it gets an ounce darker. In the meantime, I think we're going to get a lot of stuff here.
Yeah, a lot of stuff here. It's got a feeling, isn't it?
How far up here have you been, Kenny?
I had a little walk to the top, which certainly worth going up.
Is it? Right.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's funny, man.
I think I'll put this on the way. Which seemed to make sense to
Be
me.
careful though when you go up them
I
stairs.
will, absolutely.
They're very narrow.
Yeah.
We're getting a lot from that straight away.
I know. It was responding to what we were saying as well.
As soon as you talk.
Come on. We're on your rebuilt staircase.
Yeah.
I'll get this away from the way.
Oh, goodness.
When you look up there, you're like, wow.
Careful, don't even risk it, Kenny. Amazing.
I was talking plenty before, it's been quiet now.
Because we're outside.
Right.
Look at this. How did you get into that one?
Which one? That's for words, it's before down there.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I see. I know, I understand. I see how it works.
And then there's more like over here.
Now, we talked about the wild land. This is it. Just look, as far as the eye can see. Now, that woodland that you can see down the bottom, and off to the right-hand side, wild, crazy woodland. That was the original road. If you look on the horizon, slightly to your right, Tony, you'll see an orange road coiling round the hill. That was the way that people used to travel to come to this castle, along that track. So if anyone was heading along the roads, like the Scots or the English trying to unseat the Scots, they would come along that road. And because of the proximity to the Scottish borders, a lot of the people at this castle were quite friendly with the Scots for a while, until the French took them over, and then the Scots became the bloody enemy. But if you come out and just look up and see everything that's here, it's amazing. Speak to me. No.
Oh my god. It's not a good place if you get dizzy, am I?
No.
Look at them views, oh man. Incredible, aren't they?
They are, but it's like, it was kind of like we found last week when we went into that woodland area.
Yeah.
When it's you're outside and you think, oh, this is lovely. Then as soon as you get in, there's another feel to the place.
And I'm going down that woods, aren't I?
I think we all probably will take a trip down there. I just love all the obviously it's the real detail. This looks like where there was a hinge where bolts for the door used to go in.
I've been in there.
Don't know whether you can see it.
Oh,
You seen that big room up there?
Yeah, that's part of the folly up there though.
Yeah.
That was built in the 1800s. I've just seen the biggest spider just walk around the corner up there. So we're not alone. We're not alone. I think we should go down and try and talk to anything that might be here. These stairs are just scary as hell,
Aren't
mate.
they? Watch your head.
I know.
It's easy to hit your head on that.
That's why I'm wearing a padded hat. These windows to fire arrows and stuff out of if you needed to.
Yeah.
Facing, if they broke into the internal courtyard, you could be in here defending.
Yeah. And they're not going to be able to aim and get
Not
somebody
easy,
through there, are they?
certainly not easily. And down we are. Happy days.
How would they attack that? You know, if you're when you attack that couple.
Well, they can only fire one, can't they, though, that's the thing.
Yeah, well, if you're coming to attack it, or you throw one oil or water or fire, I don't know what you do.
I'm being always drawn into this.
Yeah. That's where the necromancer was talking a lot, wasn't it?
Maybe put the Ted in.
You went off?
No, if we put him in there, that's where all the stuff is.
Let's do it. There's a similar windowsill.
Go on, Ted.
Go try and see if Scary Ted can.
Ooh. Okay.
That's just us.
Oh, God.
What's the matter?
Weird, there was a worm or something on it. Oh. Something good.
Right, stick it in the windowsill, Kenny. And just put him.
In this part.
Yeah. Oh, careful.
It's going to be one of them lights. Put them right up to the window so you can...
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, that's kind of
Stay
weird.
there, don't move.
Right. Okay. Spooky Ted. What's your stem going down?
That's a good place for him, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Oh, it looks great there.
Go on, Ted. Do your thing.
That looks good there. Near the window. Oh.
Now, this place has one very, very famous story. Now, when I was giving the clue for this, the clue to where we were coming tonight, I said, they did a canny bag of crisps, and you were very swift to say Tudor, like the old TV commercial in the north. Now, Tudor is right. Margaret Tudor, she married King James the IV of Scotland, right? Now, Margaret, oh, hello, that's miles away, Tony.
Well, I think it might have been me.
Do you think?
A bit coincidental, I think, but you never know.
That was like 6 feet away. You're only supposed to do a yard. You had 3 times that. Anyway. So, Margaret Tudor, the sister of King Henry VIII, was married to Henry's enemy, the Scottish king, James IV, who was known as Jimmy the Fool. Right. Now, Jimmy the Fool, 2 years earlier, had got killed at the Battle of Flodden Field, which isn't very far from here. Now, Flodden was essentially a massacre. And King James IV got as close as I am to the camera to the leader of the enemy, to the commander of the English army. He got that close. Had he killed him, he would have won the battle. Right. He got this close. He had with him 12 archers that were his bodyguard. So wherever King James went, there was 12 people killing anybody that went anywhere near and protecting him. Yeah. He got this close, within 12 feet of the enemy. So it was that close to being a Scottish victory. However, after the battle, James IV was found lying dead, surrounded by 12 archers. Now, he was killed by bills. Have you ever heard of what a bill is? No. Yet you'll have seen them in various castles and certainly in a lot of pictures. See when troops are marching and they're carrying something that looks like a spear, but on the end there's a big metal thing. Yes. They come in various shapes and various sizes, but they were repurposed because there wasn't a lot of money to give arms to an army. Right. As people in the Ukraine have found in recent years. How do you get the necessary arms to defend your land? So they repurposed agricultural items. And a bill used to be used, very, very sharp end to it, long pole like a rake, and you would cut limbs off trees so that the bottom of trees didn't have all that, the straggly bits that would stop you getting through. So you'd take them all off with a bill. But the bills were repurposed into killing things. And people would march with them. And they ended up, you would see even members of Chelsea pensioners and people at the Tower of London standing there with their bill.
Right.
And the archers were killed by the common man, ordinary troops, who hack at you and stab you, and they can cut right through to your spine with a bill because they're sharpened. And King James the Fourth was found in the middle. Now, what brought him down and what stunned the archers, because the archers are defending him, King James had armour, he had a helmet on, but the armour only came down to there.
Right.
And an arrow went into his lower jaw, into his mouth, and he couldn't shut his mouth.
Right. Right.
The arrow was right away through the flesh and into his mouth. And it took him down. And the archers, instead of defending him, went, "My lord," and tried to look after him, when of course the other guys with the bills came in and finished him. And when they found James IV's body, his left hand was almost severed, a defensive blow against a bill was almost severed, and his throat had been slashed with it to finish him off.
Right.
Now, at the time, the English armies were being led by a woman, Catherine of Aragon. Now, we've all heard the name, one of King Henry VIII's wives. Catherine of Aragon ordered her lieutenant, her commander, to go and take the tunic of King James IV. And she sent it down to her husband, who was thrilled that his brave and courageous wife, and blimey, she was leading an army in a battle. So she had all of that. And he was very grateful. And it was proof that the Scottish king had died.
Yeah.
Now, 2 years later, this is where this building comes from. Because Margaret, who'd had 6 children, well, 5 at the time, was pregnant to her new husband. She ended up having 3 husbands. But she was pregnant. And she went to Harbottle Castle, which is just up the road from here, and gave birth to a child called Margaret, the only one of her children to grow up to adulthood. The other 5 died because it was a tough time to be alive. Now, the night after she gave birth, word got to the English, Margaret, Queen of Scots, because you only ever hear of Mary, Queen of Scots, this was Margaret, Queen of Scots, was at Harbottle Castle. So they said, get some men there, we've got to stop her. Because, first of all, she was a royal, she was a Tudor, so she had royal blood in her veins, and secondly, she was fighting for the enemy. And she could unite all of Scotland behind her and become a queen that would last and become a bigger adversary. So they wanted to stop her. So instead of staying at Harbottle, she moved over here to Cartington, where the people in charge of the castle were friends of the Scots.
Right.
At that time, they were supportive of the Scots, and they kept her safe and let her eventually go on her way. And she got back, and she lived out a long life. And just to finish off the Margaret Tudor story, she stayed here and said that she loved it and felt safe here, which at that time in history was not an easy thing to achieve. However, Margaret's daughter Margaret, because she was also called Margaret Junior's son was a man called Lord Darnley. Have you heard the name?
Somehow I have, I don't know why, but I have.
He married Mary, Queen of Scots.
Right.
And there was a plot, and it was a long story. But Lord Darnley was Margaret Junior's son. And Margaret Junior's daughter became the grandmother of King James I. Now this is where it gets complicated. You cannot have King James IV giving birth down the family line to James I.
No.
But it was King James I of England and James VI of Scotland.
Right. Right.
It was the union between the English and Scottish thrones happened, and King James I of England and the VI of Scotland took the throne of both countries, and all battles between the two ceased. So, just that's part of the history of this building. I think it's amazing. I do think it's amazing. So I'm going to sit here and I'm going to see if I can have a conversation Gee, wow. Let's see if I can find any kind of conversation with anybody or anything that's in here. I think, Kenny, maybe you just have a wander.
I think, yeah, just
Get some pics of the whole thing and try and get into the courtyard where we came in and get some footage around there.
There's a little tower, like stairs along the other side as well.
So again?
There's more stairs up to a little tower.
Is that is there?
Yeah, there's another tower over in the corner.
Do not fall off it. Right. Right, okay, let's see. Is there anybody there? Talk to us. Is there anybody here?
Just try to keep steady.
You've got to watch your step.
I know it's the mud, so you can sink in the mud.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm hearing kind of whispery conversation here. Did you hear that?
Might be Kenny trying to climb out.
Are you still in here, Kenny? Kevin. You still in here? If there's anybody there, please talk to us. Just talk to us. There's no Kenny and I'm hearing noise next door. If there's anybody here, talk to us. Come on. Make yourself known. Hello? Hello? We'd love to hear from you. What do you have to say? And what's your name? Now, if you're at home, we would love if you can make out any of the phrases that we're getting. I would love you to do it. Talk to us. We'd love you to help. Did you come to harm here? Did you come to harm here? What's your name? What's your name? Did you live here? Did you live here? No. Why are you talking to me then? Come on, talk to me. I'd love to hear from you. Anything you can. What did you do here? What did you do here?
A few little bits on the SLS.
You're getting stuff here?
A little bit.
Uh-huh. What are you saying?
There's something on there.
Oh. Little bits of energy.
Mm-hmm. Bit down there.
Yeah.
Look, there's a face on that rock. There.
Yeah, I'm seeing it. Oh, hello. Is there anyone here? Yes. What's your name? Yeah, birds in the background.
There's just lots of energy just coming and going.
Sounds like an old woman, doesn't it? What's your name? Talk to us. What's your name? Don't want to go anywhere near that. Tell me your name. What were you doing here?
Whoa! God.
The dog didn't just... That's ridiculous.
That looks like it was pushed. There's no wind outside.
There's no wind.
He was up there quite... Oh, he died there. Someone's...
No, there's no wind at all. Oh, spiders on his head. Sorry, Bear, that was me. There's no way that can fall, and there's no way that there's enough wind.
No?
The grass isn't even moving.
No, that was... I just showed it on camera, then turned around and
It fell down after you, behind you.
yeah. I got pushed.
Ow.
Do that again.
Yeah. Let's see you again. Talk to us. Old woman, was that you? Oh, that'll be you. That'll be you. Starting to get some activity though, that's just great. Talk to me. If you want to talk to me, I'd love to hear from you. Tell me what you... Really? Come on, there's energy in here. What's your name? What you doing here? Do tell. Set a couple of traps here as well. They're both still in place. I've got our torches here too. Let's just put that down for the moment.
Probably time to split the stream now.
See again?
You probably want to split the stream now.
Right. Oh, unbelievable. Now, traditionally, we always give you about an hour, but from now on, now that it's just starting to get going, we want you to share the feed tonight to make sure we get it out to as many as you can. Please do that. If you share it the most, we'll see that you've done that and we can reward you. However, we're only going to be giving about half an hour every week, and then we're going to split the stream. We've got another hour and a half to do comfortably tonight, so we hope you're going to join us on the other side. How do they do that, Tony?
Yeah, if you're on Facebook, just hit the link in the video description and part 2 will be there. Same on YouTube, just hit join and part 2 will be there for you.
We got some amazing blood-soaked stories, real history from the ground that we're on. We've just been in a couple of rooms. We've got more rooms to go into. We've got the sacred woods, and also we're heading to the Tears in the sacred wood, which is going to be amazing. It's down in the valleys. We're looking forward to going down to check that out. We'd love you to come with us. And what word that we've used in northern circles all of my life, what word do you think came from places like this? Join us on the other side. We'd love you to. It helps us out in a major way. Spread the word, become a supporter, come and join us. It's going to be amazing.